What is up, guys? Frugal BC. We got a great show for you today. Got an interview with Deck from Ghetto Pigeons, so we're going to be talking about that. Hopefully, a bunch of people will be coming in. We are live on YouTube, on X, and on Kick. So give us a shout out on any of those platforms, and we'll give a shout out to our sponsors as we get in. But he is in the bottom here. We're going to be talking very soon. So if you got questions for Deck from Ghetto Pigeons, definitely leave them in the chat. We'll try to answer them. Give a priority to super chats, of course, as we always do. But without further ado, why don't we bring him up and have a little chat? So, Deck, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Frugal. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day.
I'm good. I'm good. So, how's life in the Web3 gaming world?
It's good. It's picking up, which is a good sign, shall we say?
Nice. When did you start Ghetto Pigeons, and what led you to start the gaming project?
So I must have started Ghetto Pigeons in around Q3 2021, that kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it was just a basic project, basically. Just I was drawing up random pigeons, minting them on chain, selling them off on AB2 Gallery at the time, which was like the main marketplace. And yeah, just built from there, really. Obviously, I didn't have much plans for it. I had no utility planned. And then one thing led to another. And then obviously, I remember at the time, I think Bored Ape Yacht Club, I remember they was talking about launching a metaverse and their own kind of like Grand Theft Auto style game, which obviously fell flat on its face and they never actually got off the ground.
Right.
And I think from that's kind of where the idea came into my head. And obviously, I've always been a big gamer. So when it came a point where it was like I could actually build our own game that potentially, because at first my first thought was that we'll build a game that only our holders will have access to. So it'll be like our own little community. Just every Friday night or Saturday night, we could all just hop online, play the game, that kind of thing. And then from there, it kind of just built into we could actually make this a proper product with like the play to earn mechanics. Obviously, launching like our own marketplace where we could actually sell like NFTs as in-game assets.
Right.
And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. Just took from one thing to another, and that's kind of where we're at today.
And did you have a game development background when you started this?
I did not. So I jumped into it all head first. Just like I say, the first from say 2022 to 2023 was pretty brutal. Like I was just on like LinkedIn, different freelancing apps, just trying to find any sort of like solo developer that would obviously be happy to start building something with me. And I got scammed a few times, I must admit. People just obviously promised the world, and then most of the time it would be like, oh, like pay half up front so we could start the work, and then obviously pay half once the work's completed. And a lot of the times they just literally took the initial deposit and just ran away, just disappeared completely. So that happened a few times. Then I finally found a game developer, like a game studio that I believed I could trust. They didn't want no big payment up front. It was almost like milestones. So each time we hit a different milestone, another payment got processed, that kind of thing. And yeah, so I think 2023 was when we initially started development. But then even the actual the studio we used was called Portsea Gaming Studios, and they deal with like loads of Web2 games, just the standards like mobile games, that kind of thing. So I knew they could deliver the product. But then what the main issue that we had was they promised me that they could actually build a Web3 game, so the game that's obviously linked to Web3. And when it came to obviously having the product ready, and it was the last few stages of getting it on chain, they basically turned around and said that we only have experience working on Ethereum with like EVM chains and that kind of thing. So as you can imagine, after spending like 5 figures on trying to get this game developed, oh bloody, what happened?
I hear him. Well, while he's getting that sorted out, I want to give a shout out to our chat. We got Cloudy Vibes. Hopefully he'll dial back in. Give a shout out to chat. We got Cloudy Vibes and GM, my guy. Loving how Algo holding up compared to other projects. Nice. He's coming on, and we got Rowan. Hey, no problem. Just gonna give a quick shout out to the chat here. Rowan Villanelle saying hello, pigeons. Cloudy Vibes saying, great game, my guy. Haven't played it, but looks really fun. I think good and fun, I think he says. Rowan saying, awesome community. Also, Algo Love. We got Beach Raider saying, hey, BC. And Rowan also saying, thanks, Frugal BC, for chatting with the legend. That's you, I guess. You're the legend, my friend.
Hey, Frugal, you're the legend too, my man.
I appreciate that. So it sounds like you went. I mean, it sounds like you were in Algorand, and you first just started. You wanted to make an NFT series, and then that eventually evolved into this game. And it sounded like quite a challenge just to find a developer who wasn't going to scam you. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing with web. Well, any walk of life, you're always going to have like grifters and scammers. You know what I mean? But especially in Web3, sure. Like especially because it's a lot easier. Like there's no name attached to a profile or that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot easier to scam people in Web3. That's why I kind of only usually collaborate with projects that are doxed and I know are actually going to be here for the test of time. Do you know what I mean? They're not just going to look for a quick buck. So yeah,
absolutely. That's you know, I've often said like a really great idea. It's something I think there's like a really simple thing that someone should build on Algorand. It's like a simple like smart contract invoicing system where you can say if this thing happens and you have some way to verify that happening, then the contract gets executed. Because then you could do it in a way that would be say like almost like a little on-chain escrow system. So if anybody's a developer and wants a good idea for a really simple thing that would be really useful, it'd be great for me. I would love to do that for my sponsorships, you know, where they don't have to worry about paying an invoice. It's just the thing we said would happen happens, and the contract gets executed. Do you want to give a shout out? Vibe Official on X saying Algo fam and oh yeah, and saying dev scammers everywhere. Algo Leaks has been there. Haha. Also, Rowan Villanelle, two legends definitely. Let's go. And Cloudy saying, do you have a Pigeon NFT to be able to play? Or do you have to own a Pigeon NFT to be able to play? I believe you do, right?
So that's the thing. So to actually play the game, there's the Web2 side of it where all you have to do is create an account. So you create an account. Once you've created the account, you then have the option to either connect your wallet or just to continue playing as just a standard Web2 user.
Gotcha. And that brings me to a good question. Going back a little bit, what brought you into Algorand? Why Algorand? And I assume it sounded like you were in the Algorand world before Ghetto Pigeons came about.
Yeah, most definitely. I think what actually got me into it initially was there was an event in London back in like 2022. No, 2020. It must have been 2020. I think just after COVID, and it was you probably know them. It's Oculus.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, Oculus at the time, they was like really meant to be algo orientated, like pushing just on algo kind of thing. So yeah, it's weird how everything works out, but that's basically what got me into Algorand initially. I knew Lee Parsons through a friend, so obviously we got like invited to the event, went along to the event, and then from there, I kind of just I obviously made an algo wallet, and from there, that's how the kind of story started.
What do you think about their direction? I know a lot of people were upset when they seem to kind of turn their back on Algorand. What do you think about all that?
Well, you're always going to get that in web. I wouldn't say it's like a cult, but like any chain almost has its like own followers of people. Do you know what I mean? So when you go to another chain, the people that you are on the chain you were building initially almost feel like they've been done dirty kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? They've kind of been left behind. But it's I wouldn't think it's like that completely. I mean, I think Oculus kind of did do that because I don't think they actually do much on Algorand at all anymore.
No.
So from that standpoint, I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the key difference to me. Like, I know folks went multi-chain, but they kept support for Algorand. They just added onto it. And to me, that's like, I think that's where most of these dApps kind of have to go. I just don't think the Algorand system is really big enough right now to support, to support like an ongoing business. And I think Algorand's a good place to start. And I appreciate when people keep their, especially because a lot of these companies are getting support from Algorand through, the various grants and venture capital systems and a lot of support in the beginning. I think it's, Yeah, I think it's good when they stay on Algorand but build onto other chains, and I think that's good for Algorand holders too, because as you get more chains involved, you get more liquidity, more businesses are being successful building on Algorand. I think that's a great thing. So I want to ask you some stuff about kind of about the economics of it. Like, so you built this game, you've got this NFT series. Like, is this working out for you? Are you supporting yourself on this? Is it like a side hustle? How do you characterize that?
So I don't know if my screen's frozen or can you still hear me?
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. I don't know. I'm moving on your screen, aren't I? Because on my screen the camera's just frozen.
Oh yeah. No, you're normal on my side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. That's all that matters then. So yeah, financial stand of things. I mean, I'm quite lucky to the point where I'm self-employed as a gas engineer. So kind of like my
Okay.
9 to 5 kind of paves the way for most of the funding for development, that kind of thing. Like
hmm
we have reached out for like grants in the past, but yeah, I like to just like I say it's our project, my project. So do you know what I mean? I want to fund it to a point, just to the point where I'm happy enough to then present it as or to a venture capitalist who would actually be willing to invest into the
Right.
product that we created.
Mhm. Okay, I gotta go let my dog in, but while I'm there, can you kind of talk about? Well, actually, hold on one second. I'll just let her in.
No worries.
Come
There she is. Well, she is. She's a Labrador.
Golden Retriever, actually.
Golden Retriever. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
They're the best dogs in my opinion.
I know. She's great. I've had her
They're
for
so
about 4 years.
loving. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so much, so much. Yeah. First dog, actually, my first dog I ever had, and I've had her for about 4 years, and yeah, she's great.
Oh,
Uh,
bless her.
how did you choose the model? You already have this NFT series, and what models? I guess what models did you look at? What other like business models did you look at with Web3 gaming that you liked or didn't like? What kind of inspired the system that
Um,
you have?
well, like I said, I was a big gamer. I've always been a big gamer. So like
hmm
Call of Duty, Battlefield, like them kind of games there that I've always been a big fan of. So
hmm hmm
yeah, well, when it kind of just hit me, like if we could get some sort of, like I said, initially it was just trying to get the community playing a singular game that obviously we've created that then we could stream and then we could present that obviously on Twitter to different people that want to become part of the community. But then it
hmm
kind of just grew to a point where we could actually build it as like a play to earn product. So that's kind of where I went with it because, like I said, I never really. I'm the type of person that I don't really think about things too much. I kind of just jump straight into them. So when I got the plan hit my head, I just thought, how can we do this? How can we make it like actual thing? And I kind of just went with it.
hmm That's interesting. Was there a particular Web3 model that you emulated? Were there Web3 models that you thought, well, that didn't work. We're definitely not going to do it that way.
Uh, Thinking about it, not really. Like I said, I always had the idea that I wanted to reward my holders as much as possible because
hmm
obviously initially we launched the Ghetto Pigeons V2s, which was the big collection that we initially did. So it was 1,000 pigeons. The mint was 40 Algorand per piece, and the plan was to obviously mint out completely and then start releasing the game like a few weeks later.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, certain things in life just happened in real life, and
Yeah.
things got pushed behind again and again. Like I said, I got scammed a
Mhm.
few times, so it took a
Right.
while to actually get the game off the ground. So then once I did, it just came to me. The people that stuck around, like in the Discord, that actually held on to their pigeons and believed in not just me but the project alone. I wanted to just make sure that we built something that is rewarding to them. So that's why we've obviously like if you dived into like the ghetto ecosystem, like the whole concept is just how can we reward our holders as much as possible.
Okay. And so it sounds like, I mean, the focus, sounds like what you're saying is the focus was really on the NFTs and the NFT holders, and this is like the game was like a way to kind of reward the people who have been NFT holders and who become new NFT holders, kind of giving them more value for holding those pigeons, huh?
Exactly. That's literally initially that's what the whole concept was. But then it's got to the point now where the game can kind of stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, the more that we develop it, the more things that we add to the game, it just, like I say, it could be a standalone game that eventually I want to get on like Steam, potentially on console, like that kind of thing. But the first step is obviously getting it onto iOS, because that's the big almost like roadblock that we're hitting right now. It's just every time we apply for the application, it's just another thing that Apple pick up on that we have to change. So then we have to go back to the game developers, get that change implemented, and then obviously reapply for the application. And it's just a long process. But like I say, once we get the game on iOS, I think that's going to be a big milestone for us.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people. I know Android seems to be a lot easier to work with than Apple from a developer standpoint. That's what I've seen pretty much across the board. I've found that a lot of the games that are mobile based usually come out on Android first, and then you usually have to play in testnet on Apple until it gets approved, all the approvals and stuff. And I found that they don't really care for Web3 very much in general. That's kind of a hurdle. Is that, have you found most of those issues are Web3 based, or are they just like basic developer stuff?
Web3 based, yep, most certainly. Even with like the Google Play Store, we had a lot of issues with the Web3 based kind of things. Like
Oh,
you
really?
have to word things, in a certain way, just to obviously get it past the their criteria. Do you know what I mean, type thing. But then even when it comes to like, it could be something so simple as like when you go to log in, if the text pop up where you're typing, if that covers like too much of the screen, they can reject it of something as small as that. Like it doesn't actually have to be like gameplay or anything like that. It can just be like the menus and that kind of thing, and how it actually interacts with the different devices.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like quite a challenge. I appreciate you guys keep trying and keep building. I think that's awesome. And speaking of iOS, you got this new app with the Puffs NFT. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the Puff Hoppers, that was initially I thought of, like I say, we built Ghetto Warzones as a third person online shooter. So you have to think like, to get the most out of the game, you need you honestly want people online so that you can play with different people. Otherwise, you're just playing against the computer, against like the bots, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but after like 2 or 3 games, it does get quite boring because it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I know especially for crypto, like people want things instant. So if you want like in-game payouts for Ghetto Warzones, you have to be not only quite good at the game to obviously get into the top 3 of the leaderboards from each game, but you also each game lasts about 10 minutes. So like, if you got to think, you got to take 10 minutes out of your day to actually play the game to earn the payouts. And what I kind of thought of was, if we could create a game that's a lot more fast paced, a lot quicker turnaround, so that people could just, on their lunch break, they could play the game like 10 times rather than just once.
Right.
And I feel like that's where with Puff Hopper especially, it's just really simple, tapping the screen. Obviously, it's similar to Doodle Jump. I'm not sure if you played Doodle Jump back in the day.
I haven't.
It was like a really, when I was like 13, 14, back in like 2010, it was like a really popular game off of iPhone. So you just tap, similar concept, you tap the screen, try to get to the highest level you can. But obviously there was no payouts. So then what obviously we incorporated with Puff Hopper is there's point thresholds that accumulate payouts. So once you hit like 100 points, you get 100 Puff. And then for every 50 points over 100 you then get more tokens, basically.
I gotcha. So are you concerned about the tokenomics of that? Because I know like we've seen games where when you get rewarded in a specific token, a lot of times that creates sell pressure on that token. Has that happened for you guys? And do you have a way to balance that?
Yeah, most definitely. It happened initially with Coup, which is the native token for Ghetto Warzones.
Right.
And initially, like I said, there was people just farming the game where they would just start the game up, not even try and actually play the game. They just farm it. And what you could do was you could basically set it to just only you enter the game with no bots, no one else. So once the timer runs out, you finish first because you're the only player in the game. So then people were getting like #1 payouts for actually not even doing anything.
Oh, geez.
So we had to obviously put different what's the word, like different security measures in so that that couldn't happen. And then there were similar things with Puff Hopper, where somehow someone found a way that they could basically, first of all, have access to the in-game reward pools without holding a Puff NFT.
Oh wow!
And then they was able to somehow on the back end work out how they could send a send like the payout, what the word, I don't know, explain it, to the back end code. They was able to basically send a message to that back end, so they was basically getting payouts every 5 to 10 seconds.
Oh geez. Hey, by the way,
that was it.
Henrik Cobb, want to give a big shout out for that super chat. Thank you so much, and I will keep up the good work. I'm sorry, go ahead, Doug.
So yeah, we had to, that was on like the first 2 days of launch, so we had to basically put in extra additional steps so that obviously that couldn't happen at all.
Right.
And then what we learned with Ghetto Warzones with Coup is that obviously the more people farm the token, the more they're going to sell the token, which obviously adds sell pressure. So what we've done with Coup was we've added it's like a burn bot. So of all the rewards that get paid out per week, the burn bot will burn the token at a 1-to-1 ratio, but they also, it accumulates the tokens so that the reward pool is constantly being topped up.
Interesting.
So that at least then it doesn't actually, we're not getting huge sell pressure all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like we did with Coup initially.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that burn mechanism seems to be one of the key elements. I know Alpha implemented that. I think Hay, when they launched the Hay token, they implemented the burn mechanism.
Yep.
So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Well, how have both games been perceived, and has there been a difference between the two and how they've been accepted by the community?
Well, yeah, obviously Puff Hoppers had a lot more success on the fact that Ghetto Warzones had a lot of initial bugs. It was just like it was a lot more at the start when we first launched the game. It was a lot more complicated to actually connect your email to your wallet. That whole procedure was a lot more difficult, but we've improved it a lot now, where it's a lot more forgiving and it's just a lot more Web 2 orientated. So that if someone from Web 2 decided they want to try the game out, it will feel very familiar. Do you know what I mean? It won't feel like a whole new thing. And like I say, they have the choice whether they want to connect their wallet or just play as a standard Web 2 user. And then all the tokens that they've earned will just be attached to their account, so that if in the future, if they wanted to obviously connect their wallet, they've got the tokens there that they can just redeem. And we learned that from Fractal Labs.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, Fractal. You know, we've worked with Fractal Monsters before, and now Fractal, the Fractal TCG, which is pretty fun. I've been playing that one a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a great product.
Now, the Puff Hoppers, that is only on Android right now. Is it being worked on for
similar
iOS?
thing. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's the main thing. Like I say, once we get on iOS, I figure that'll be like a massive step for us in the right direction.
Definitely, I think so for sure. Well, I wanted to talk. You had a tweet about that you guys were not included in Algorand. I wonder how you feel about that. If you can kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I kind that day especially, I kind of just let my frustrations get the better of me, shall we say? I feel just like I said, I'm in communication with like MJ and Murky Merc at the foundation, but it's just like I said, I had a feeling that we could have incorporated Ghetto Warzones or even Puff Hopper into the challenges, that kind of thing, and I just feel like it's just another gaming option. Like you have Borks, you have the Zerks. Like that's obviously they're incredible, the arcades, that kind of thing.
Big fan of those guys.
Yeah, massive shout out. And I'm just it was just another gaming concept that could have been incorporated. That's kind of where my frustrations were at with it.
Fair enough. Yeah. So they didn't reach out to you at all about that?
Nah, so nothing. So initially they didn't really reach out at all about it. I emailed MJ probably about a week before the NFT week live, and he kind of just explained like,
MJ, by the way.
Yeah, massive shout out to MJ.
He's a great guy.
Legend right there.
Definitely.
Honestly. And so yeah, he kind of explained like, because we don't have the game on iOS, it kind of doesn't make sense to obviously incorporate into the Algorand campaign, because a lot of users have iPhones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that's
then
tough.
it would have created an issue where like people would be like, oh, I can't actually complete this task because of my phone. Do you know what I mean? Which isn't really
Yeah.
fair. So I totally understand that. But
Mhm.
with like Ghetto Warzones anyway, like we do have it on iOS desktop. It's like it's
Oh,
available
very
on
cool.
like Mac, that kind of thing. So it
Mhm.
can be played because there is crossplay enabled, so you can play on mobile and you can play on PC. So I just
Okay.
feel like we could have
Yeah.
incorporated it in that way, but obviously I totally understand where the foundation was coming from on the accessibility standpoint.
Yeah. I guess I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. I've had mixed feelings about Algorand. I think it's like a neat idea, but they did state that their purpose was to bring in people from other ecosystems. They
Hmm.
said they were targeting Web3, but outside of Algorand, it wasn't really targeted at, people who don't know Web3 at all. And I don't know. I haven't seen much evidence that it's brought people over. Maybe I'm open to seeing that evidence, but I haven't seen that yet. So I guess we'll see, right?
That's it exactly. I've seen definitely a few new faces pop up, but yeah, nothing major.
The major, yeah. Well, what's next for you guys in your roadmap?
So what's next for us? Like I say, it's just continue to launch more utility for the holders. Like
Mhm.
yesterday, we launched our Puff missions, whereas it's very similar to like we took a lot of inspiration from like the Mingo missions from Stitch, where you just we could do like collab missions where you have to hold a certain NFT from a different collection, and obviously if you gain access to the mission, you get a cut of like a pool of the tokens, kind of
Mhm.
thing like that, or different NFTs, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just keep adding different utility. Like I say, the main step that we're
Mhm.
pushing for right now is getting both games onto iOS.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I say, that's going to be a massive breakthrough for us once we actually do. Because I feel
Mhm.
like I say, probably like 60% of the Algorand community have iPhone. So a
Right,
lot of the
right,
community we can't actually tap into the game because they can't access it.
right.
It's really frustrating.
Well, and I was going to ask you, is it possible? I know Cosmic Champs, when they launched, I think they were on like you had to get the test flight app at first, and is that an option for you guys, or is that even like the step you guys are trying to work for?
Like I think if like our next two applications get cancelled or rejected by Apple, then I think we might have to kind of go down that route,
Gotcha.
just so Apple users have some sort of access to the game for now. Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just continue building. Like I say, just keep adding. Like we have the next upgrade package ready for Ghetto Warzones. It's just obviously getting the funds together to pay the game developer, because I think the next package is about eight and a half grand, I think it is, to get the next upgrades done. But it includes
Okay.
like upgrading the UI, the menus, new maps, new weapons, new in-game playable characters. Because what I really want to do at the moment, we only have Ghetto Pigeons playable in Ghetto Warzones, but I want to
Gotcha.
get like Mingo, Blops, Crazy Embryo Club, loads of different projects that have actually like supported us from day one. Basically, I want
Mhm.
to get them into the game, and like their characters will have special abilities that only their holders will have access to, and just kind of incorporate as much of the Algorand community as I can into the game. That's kind
Oh,
of what I
that's
want to do
great.
with Ghetto Warzones, especially.
That's a good idea. Now this might be looking like really far in the future, but do you ever see yourself going multi-chain?
Yeah, definitely. I've had recently, especially, I've had a lot of as you can imagine, a lot of DMs from different people on different chains saying like, "Can't build on our
Mhm.
chain, come over here," and it's definitely something that we will eventually obviously tap into. But like I say, I
Mhm.
want to get the game up to a quality level where it can actually stand alone. I'm happy to actually present it to different blockchains. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, totally. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know it's kind of down the road, but I like that you're thinking about that, because I really think going multi-chain, getting on some of these bigger chains is, kind of a key to growing and maybe making it into a sustainable business. So,
Yeah,
great. Well,
exactly.
yeah. Anything you'd want to leave the Frugal BC audience with before we let you go?
I'll just say like just keep an eye out for all the utilities that we have. Like I say, take a dive into the Ghetto ecosystem.
Hmm. Oh, it froze up there a little bit. Before we get him back, I want to give a big shout out to Haystack. Oh, here he is.
Back again. Back again.
Back again.
Yeah. So yeah, just take a dive into the ecosystem. Like I say, we have the Ghetto Warzone's website. It has plenty of utility on there. Like you can opt into like soft staking. You can do heists. You can do vaults where like you can crack open vaults for different rewards. And then you have the Puff, obviously the Puff website where you have loads of different utility as well. Like I say, if you just, for an example, if you hold a Puff NFT, you receive token airdrops every Saturday. Then if you hold the actual Puff token, you receive token airdrops every Monday. And then Wednesdays, we have the Trait Weekly Lottery, where obviously a random trait selected every week. And if you hold that trait, you obviously get access to the reward pool. So I think like 18 people got paid out yesterday from the lottery. Nice. And yeah, and obviously we have the burn mechanism as well, which burns probably like 1% of the supply each week. So there's like a deflammatory process to the token as well.
After the stream, I'll put a link in the description. Where do you want me to send people? Where should people go if they want to check out more? Where's like the starting point?
So starting point would be Ghetto Warzones. So does it off whenever I go off the actual link?
The stream doesn't cut off. You were just pausing for. Oh, what do you mean? No, you can. Well, I can look it up if you.
Because what I'll do, Frugal, I could just send you over the links on Twitter now, and then you could just attach them to the stream or whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead and feel free to send it to me there, and we'll send. We'll definitely put a link in the description. We got people on X as well, but they can probably check you out on X, I believe.
Yep, exactly.
I think if they just search Ghetto Pigeons or Ghetto Warzone, if they search that, they'll find you.
Yeah, either or, Ghetto Pigeons or Ghetto Warzones will pop up. Like I say, we've just started a 30,000 Puff giveaway on Twitter as well. So if you want to enter that, you can just I think it's just to retweet the post and you're entered into that. Yeah, nice. We do plenty of giveaways.
There you go. Well, Duck, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show. It was a lot of fun talking to you and just kind of getting the insight about how all this works, what it's like to actually develop one of these. Because I think a lot of times people don't appreciate like how much work goes into this stuff, how difficult it can be, and especially the trying to find, if you have to try to find a developer because you're not one yourself, like that's a pretty tough market to navigate, and you can get if you're not careful. In fact, one thing I would maybe have you leave with, if someone was looking for a developer, like since you've had this experience, how would you avoid scammers and make sure you're working with real developers? I know you mentioned doxing.
Yeah, yes. Like I said, that's probably the key feature you want is that they're docs developers. They actually have potentially like their own business with obviously a business address, that kind of thing, of official websites, referrals. Just for the common things that you look for if you were trying to look for like a plumber or like a kitchen fitter. You want someone that has good reviews. So just even with anything Web3 related, you want someone that's actually been not doxed, but almost they've been vetted. So
yeah,
they're gonna give you what they've agreed. Do you know what I
mean? Definitely. All right. Well, Doug, hey, thanks so much for coming on the show. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us and, kind of teach us how this stuff works and show us kind of the inside of developing a game. So I appreciate it.
Nah, no worries at all. Thank you for having me on, Frugal. I love what you do.
All right. All right. I appreciate that. And thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Haystack, our sponsor, one of our sponsors who makes trading on Algorand so easy right on your mobile app. Check them out. And big shout out to Marcus Ferilius, a NFT and meme coin project on the Algorand blockchain, spreading the word about stoicism, which I think is pretty cool. You can check those both out in the description. We'll have a link pinned to Ghetto Warzone, Ghetto Pigeons in the comments. So check that out. Thanks so much for Duck to coming on, and thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.